Planar is an interesting market. You get an affordable IM which punches way above its price, and it has become people's favorite lately. And Kiwi Ears just jumped into the wagon with Kiwi Ears Aether, a gigantic 15.3mm planar. Is it any good, you ask? Let's find out. Let's start with package build and design. It comes with an IEM, a cable, ear tips and the case. I feel the IEMs are nicely built. They are 3D resin print shells with glittery faceplate. However, they are a little bit chunky in size, and aesthetically, despite being glittery, they dissolve really well in your aesthetic, so no complaints here. For comfort, despite being the chunky size, I did not feel any discomfort whatsoever, and I could wear them for long hours. They are really lightweight in that regards. However, if you have small ears, I would say demo first. The ear tips supplied are fine, however these IMs go really well with the Shansai ear tips, so do use them. It comes with a 2-pin cable which is thin and flimsy, and I think Kiwi Ears could have done a little bit better. This cable is exactly same as that you get with any Ziggart. See here, we have cable of Ziggart Lush and Kiwi Ears Aether. No difference, except the logo of course. I'm using this cable. This goes aesthetically really nice with it. For specifications, it's a 15.3mm planar with 14 ohm of impedance and 105 sensitivity. I do not recommend running this IM directly into your mobile or 3.5mm jacks of your computer. I would say get a small or affordable DAC with it and they sound really nice with it. However, this massive 15.3mm planar does any good to the sound? Let's find out. Tuning per se, Kiwi Ears went a little thinner in comparison to other planars, cutting down on bass and maintaining mids and treble as per planar characteristics. Well, it's still kind of a V-shape IM, however very interesting take for a planar, making it a little bit thinner, and it clearly worked in Aether's part. Let's break it down in detail, starting with the bass. Bass on Aether is balanced and very accurate. It has a good sub-bass extension and it has a decent body in it as well. However, it is not going to satisfy any bass head needs. It is more of a controlled and very accurate bass, and it carries a decent level of details as well. One thing to note here, it is not a very full-bodied or thumpy bass just like you get with a dynamic driver. It is end-to-end a planar characteristics, and I personally appreciate it. It makes the driver more predictable and make it easy to recommend. If I need a dynamic driver bass, I would buy a dynamic driver. In mids, it portrays a nice and clean mid-range with no emphasis as such. Layering and separation is very good on this IM, especially the separation between instruments and the vocals. However, it doesn't sound very natural. Mids carry a very clear hint of planar timbre. For example, I was listening to Handara and Aether portrayed excellent layering and separation and bass tactility. However, the instrument come out a bit sharp and I would say a little bit metallic. The treble is well extended and airy and carries a lot of detail. And despite this dip of 2 to 6K region, I felt some of the notes come out a bit sharp and bright in the upper mid and treble ranges. In no instances I felt it was lacking finesse or was outright sibilant. It's a good treble for a planar IM, however I still feel it lacks balance here and there. For technicalities, resolution is very good. It has very good level of detail production for this price range. However, texture I would say not so much. And for the soundstage, it has a very good spacious and open signature and carries a good sense of height and width as well. The imaging is precise, layering and separation is very good. Dynamic range, again, it did not falter in anywhere. However, rhythm and timing, not so much. It fails to portray that physicality of music, and that is one area where I feel a little bit of improvement can do wonders. And overall, for the price range, I would say it's an above average technicalities in Kiwi Ears Aether. Let's compare Aether with Timeless 2 and Hidizs MP145. I think these are really good two planars that are very comparable to this. While I still feel Timeless 1 is the best planar in terms of price, value and performance still. However, since it is not circulating in the market that freely, that's why we are comparing this with these options. In terms of bass, I would say Hidizs MP145 and Timeless 2. Both have more body and fuller bass in comparison to Aether. However, Aether showcased more control and accuracy. I still say MP145 produces best bass if you're okay sounding it a bit like a dynamic driver. For mids, all have almost similar take, where MP145 and Timeless 2 are slightly vocal forward. I would say Aether has the best layering amongst the three. For treble ranges, MP145 is the best take amongst the three. Both Timeless 2 and Aether have occasional issues that hampers the texture here and there. In technicalities, all of them performed really well. I would rank MP145 on the top as an overall performer. Aether comes second and Timeless comes third. Though personally, in my experience, if anyone is going to blind test, most people will go for Timeless 2 for its excellent bass production. In conclusion, I would say Kiwi Ears jumped into the right direction with Aether. It needs a little bit of improvement, especially into accessories. At this price point, accessories needs to be improved, and a little bit of refinement in the treble range. Overall, it performed really beautiful in my testing. And I would say if you're in need for a planar and you need something under $200, definitely give this a try. I would give this a solid 3 stars. Well, this was it for Kiwi Ears Aether. Do let me know your favorite planar in the comment. Do subscribe, do like, and I'll see you in the next one.